Skyforge teaches us what it's like to have god powers, TERA reveals their badass new gunner class along with a release date for Steam, Hazard Ops delivers its update like a boss, and World of Warships demonstrates the devastation of torpedoes. What's happening, guys? James Blonde here with MMOHuts.com with a quick weekly recap for MMO news and announcements of the week ending April 27th, 2015. And starting out the news this week is a new Story Continues trailer for Vindictus, promoting their Road to 85 event and also creating hype for Season 3, which is set to arrive this summer. Season 3 changes are going to be impressive to say the least, judging by the Korean version, which of course is ahead. They are going back to the linear style dungeons similar to Season 1, only to avoid some of the backtracking that's happening in the Season 2 content. So not literally meaning that the dungeons are in a straight line, of course. That would be super boring. It also looks like there will be a rework done to Eevee. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of definitive details other than what one can gather from the Korean version and its YouTube. What we can tell is it's going to be a huge expansion of the game with combat adjustments, character reworks, and a lot of changes to the in-game systems. But until that happens, there are tons of in-game events happening right now, all throughout the rest of this month and well into May. As for another game with awesome action combat, In-Mass Entertainment announced the next major update coming to TERA, which is the brand new Gunner class. These killers are fast-moving, high DPS dealing, big-ass arc cannon carrying, construct summoners that never really stop to ask any questions because they're typically too busy shooting everything. Just this past week, I was able to hop into the private servers with TERA's producer to try out the Gunner myself, and let me just say, not only does this class take full advantage of TERA's combat system nicely, they also bring a lot of new elements gameplay-wise. I'll be bringing you guys a Gunner preview video later this week so you can catch up on all the details, and you can expect to see the new class in-game along with TERA's debut on Steam, finally, on May 5th. Also, during the first part of May, Echo of Soul is starting up its closed beta on May 4th. Along with this announcement made last week, Area Games introduced 4 Founders Packs, of course, each offering guaranteed early access to the closed beta, among other things. Now, I'm not really sure what they mean by early access in this case. Like, does it mean that you get early access before the May 4th beta date, or just that you'll have priority access once the beta actually starts, and you're guaranteed to be in? Who knows? Either way, players that have already signed up will randomly be chosen to join the beta eventually. Other items the Founders Pack offer players, depending on the one you're buying, are items like mounts, pets, silver, potions, and plenty other starter items. Now, the starter pack will cost you around $20, and the other 3 higher tier packs you select based on what items you're looking for are at the $50 mark. And if you want to learn more based on what they offer, head over to the site post at the new MMOHuts.com for all the details. Infinite Odyssey launched last week as part of Lineage 2's 11th anniversary, delivering new content and completely removing the level cap. In the new expansion, players will join Leona Blackbird in her quest to find and free the captured troops of the Blackbird army while crossing several new zones and encountering a powerful new raid boss. A new store update is going on right now in celebration of the expansion launch and anniversary, giving longtime players a free veteran reward pack. Plus, for 1 month, players can enjoy special server settings, which will provide free teleports, no XP loss on death, and a 50% XP SP boost. Next up, Cabal 2 is back in the news again this week, this time with a character spotlight for the plate mail classes, namely the Warrior and the Force Shielder. The Warrior is a high DPS class that attacks slower than the Force Blader, but hits harder with a little more survivability, of course at the expense of attack speed as well as mobility. They're able to pull off a consecutive chain of abilities that ends up being really huge for their overall damage output. The Force Shielder, on the other hand, is your all-powerful tank that spearheads the battle, commanding and protecting allies. This class in Cabal 2 can actually deal a decent amount of damage on their own once you become familiar with their abilities. These are the final 2 classes to be introduced via Spotlight videos, just in time for the closed beta for Cabal 2 to start this Thursday, April 30th. Also last week, a new video was released by the Alad's team showcasing the Divine Form accessible to every character in Skyforge. As players continue to explore the mysteries behind the ongoing story in Skyforge, they'll eventually unlock their Divine Form and gain their first Divine abilities. At this point, players are able to re-customize the look of their character by selecting their Divine Form's future appearance, whether that be a high-tech suit, a fiery demon form, or the very essence of the god of Aelion, Ailey. Which doesn't actually matter because they all look awesome. Once you've reached this point, you'll be able to switch over to your Divine Form in certain types of adventures like Raid, Pantheon Wars, battling the avatars of hostile gods, and more, or anywhere you choose by using a special faith source, which can be obtained through certain content. They have a nicely detailed list of all the divine abilities at their website, the official website, but as you can tell, they look just as cool as the gods themselves. Question is, just how much time do you have to put in order to get to this point in the game? And speaking of gods, or at least godlike power, Rise of Incarnates revealed a new playable character this past week. This time we meet Asha as Kali. Asha is apparently the CEO of a giant media corporation. However, behind closed doors, she is Kali, a woman of two faces who spearheads the Domestic Human Project, a vision of the future in which incarnates reign over the powerless masses. Kali has a special awakening ability that increases the team's speed and makes all special moves have tag combo starter effects. She also has some really extreme nipple covers. Just felt like I needed to point that out. Seeing that the new Avengers Age of Ultron movie is debuting this Friday, May 1st, Marvel Heroes 2015 is running a really cool little event and update inspired by the movie. The update includes the release of Vision, the 47th playable character in the game, a new game mode, Age of Ultron-inspired costume and hero packs, plus the ability to play as all the Avengers for free. Pretty cool update to check out to hype up for this movie, if you ask me. That Hulkbuster skin, though, is pretty legit. Last week, Zombies, Monsters, Robots introduced the Game of Drones update, but its European counterpart Hazard Ops is doing things like a boss. Update 1.5.2 in Hazard Ops introduced a new game mode called Boss Rush, having players fight up to 9 different bosses in a row. Talk about a raid. Besides that, there will also be a string of new PvE missions that connect to one another, taking you through different game modes and locations. Of course, the update wouldn't be proper without 17 new weapons, including the new Tyrant-type weapons, which are the most powerful and badass weapons yet. 2 new Robo-Pets, 6 new co-op maps, 2 new Versus maps, lots of new costumes for both male and female mercs, along with new mods, items, and tech. Fairly decent sized update if you ask me, lots of items which are probably necessary for fighting all damn bosses. In other news, World of Warships released a new Naval Academy video discussing torpedoes and just how devastating they can be. The video starts by saying that a single torpedo hit from a Tier 8 destroyer will sink any destroyer in the game, and 3 hits will easily take out a Tier 10 cruiser or aircraft carrier. Sounds pretty broken, but it's not. The video reveals how targeting works with the torpedoes, which is represented by a cone-shaped reticule as the torpedoes spread apart the further they travel. There's also 2 spread angles to choose from, either wide or narrow. Narrow should only be used at short distances whenever you're sure the majority of your torpedoes are actually going to hit your target. The wide spread increases your chances at hitting your target, even at far distances. However, due to the large spread here, you will risk damaging allied ships, so you have to be careful. So, torpedoes are pretty awesome in the game, but they do have their disadvantages. Check out the latest World of Warships Naval Academy video at the new MMOHuts.com to find out what they are. And speaking of ships, Star Conflict pushed out its Season 2 Dreadnoughts update this past week, which not only introduced the massive Dreadnoughts themselves, but also other content additions comprised of new quests, locations, 2 new alien types, and more. These Dreadnoughts are Goliath-sized ships that come complete with interstellar firepower acting as a powerful trump card in the fight for dominance in the galaxy. Now, these Dreadnought battles are available solely for corporations, but solo players can also join the battle as mercenaries in order to defend a corporation that is under attack. When corporations go to build a Dreadnought, they need to first build a shipyard, assemble the skeleton, mount on the engine, and then the guns. The primary construction element of the Dreadnought is iridium, and since the building process is very costly, you're going to need your entire corporation collecting it. But finally, for a last bit of news, Supernova, the new sci-fi MOBA RTS game from Bandai Namco, is kicking into gear with its alpha test, and just last week they released a brand new video you see playing here showcasing gameplay of their newest hero, or champion if you will, Macwell, who is a ranged sniper. I've got to admit, the gameplay looks pretty cool, and you can definitely tell that the designers took a lot of inspiration from StarCraft. In fact, Macwell really reminds me of Jin Raynor. Anyway guys, that's about it for all the major MMO news and announcements for this week. In unrelated news, I've been going 4 days straight with no AC in the South Texas weather, and it sucks. I'm going insane. Just thought you should know that. Like always, if you're looking for more information about the news featured in the news recap, check for the links in the description below, or head over to the brand new MMOHuts.com for even more MMO news. Feel free to discuss the news in the comments below, or head over to MMOHuts.com/forum. And until next time guys, that's going to be it from me. I'm James Blonde. See you out there, gamers.